If you've seen some pontoons, maybe yours, if you put your logs or your blocks or your casters in the wrong place, you can create dents. And we can let her all the way down though. Hey, it's Tom from Tom's Toons here. We just brought this boat in. It's on a center lift, scissor trailer, crank up trailer, whatever you want to call it. It's on that style trailer. We're gonna show you how we have it strapped on. This just came from about an hour away, so 60, 65 miles. And then we're gonna show you how and talk about our caster carts, what we use, something you can make at home if you need to move your boat around the garage or the pole barn, or you could make a set that's stationary. But let's talk about strapping first. Typically, we're gonna do either one or two straps from the back. This is tied into the cross member. A lot of times you'll have an eye on the back, so we'll tie into that. And we're gonna just try to tie the back down and keep it from going side to side. So this strap goes all the way underneath the trailer and pulls the pontoon boat down, and it's gonna keep pressure down. If we come up to the front real quick, I really like how this trailer's set up. Not all of them are, but I have little eyes here that I can strap each side down to. As opposed to going under the trailer, then the boat can still slide a little bit side to side. When I crank these both tight, they work in opposition. They're pulling the pontoon boat down, but they're also keeping the pontoon boat from swaying side to side. I'm gonna go ahead and get all my straps undone, and then I'll show you how we place those caster carts. We'll talk more about those. And yes, it's okay to use a whole bunch more straps. Sometimes you got to go around the pontoon. Sometimes you got to tie into cross members. If it makes you feel better, put a few extra straps on it. I've had boats get trailered to me with no straps, or maybe just one holding it on the front. Or I've had them come in where it takes me 10, 15 minutes to undo a dozen straps. As long as you're comfortable towing it, do what's best for you.
How do you know it's not going to go anywhere?
If you ever wonder if it's tight enough, just give it the old test. That's not going anywhere.
Why can't you straighten your arms? What's going on?
My arms are real sore.
Tom's nickname is T-Rex.
All right, so let's talk about casters. Here's what we have. Originally, we bought some casters. They say they hold like 1,200 pounds or something each. They're from Harbor Freight, these little carts. The casters, if you look around our shop, there's probably 100 ball bearings that blew out of the original casters. So what we did is we went out, these are, I think they're about $4 or $5 a piece per wheel. Sounds expensive until you push around a heavy boat. Then you want a nice high quality caster, something that can handle the weight. And then what we did is we constructed, made them a little bit taller. So you could do this at home just with some 2x4s, maybe 4x4s. The big thing that I did, in addition to putting better casters on, is I extended about 4 to 5 feet of 2x4 for that pontoon to sit on. So the center of the pontoon will go in here. Typically there's like a little strake or a keel on your pontoon on the bottom, so that will ride in between. But this distributes the weight, the pressure of the boat. If you've seen some pontoons, maybe yours, if you put your logs or your blocks or your casters in the wrong place, you can create dents. I'm gonna bring my rear casters. I'm gonna get them placed, and keep in mind my trailer is gonna fall back a little bit as I let it down. I'm gonna make sure that I have a little bit of caster, a little bit of wood sticking out from behind the pontoon. What that's gonna do is distribute the weight evenly. Ideally, we wanna get some weight on these seams. If you have multiple seams, that's the place to put your blocks or your casters. We just use, even on a 24-foot boat, even on a 28-foot boat, we can get away with just 4 of these carts because we extended that and it distributes the weight so well. So that's my back placement. I'll do that on both sides. And then let's talk about the front. Same thing, I have my nose cone is always gonna be a separate part of your pontoon. There's a seam there. A lot of times there's a baffle, it's reinforced. That's a beefy part. So I'm gonna always try to put my support at least part way touching that seam or that weld. In this case, I'm gonna extend it forward a little bit into the nose cone, and then it goes back a ways into the middle of the pontoon. I'm gonna go ahead and lower my trailer till it's almost touching, and I'm gonna walk around and make sure all my carts are in the right place. Or if you have blocks, you might need to move them a little bit to make sure you stayed on the seams for support. So I'm gonna go ahead and place my other 2 carts on the other side, and then we'll show you how we lower it down. There, all the way. Good. Good. He's the boss, man. tells us what to do. On your trailer, typically you're gonna have a pin or some sort of system that lowers down. In this more modern style crank up trailer, it is gonna fall back a ways. Depending on your trailer, you just gotta take that into account. But we're gonna go ahead and start lowering her down nice and slow. I'm gonna go ahead, walk around right now and make sure, see, the boats come back. I'm gonna move my cart back for probably a foot there. Make sure that my keel, this angle piece, is lined up on the bottom. Check our backs. So on my back, we've come just behind the support. I'm gonna bring it back up just an inch here so I can slide my cart back a little bit. And that keel wasn't quite lined up. We'll lift it up just a teeny bit. We'll slide them back. Yeah. So that's our ideal position. Now I can drop it down. Backs are good. Front, and we're looking at this seam. Pull forward just a little bit. That looks pretty darn good. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. And we can let her all the way down now. The cool thing about the casters is now I can move the boat off the trailer or pull the trailer out. One lesson I've learned, unless you have a perfectly straight drive out, unhook your trailer from your truck or your tow vehicle, pull it out by hand. I've blown up a tire by pulling it out and catching it on a fin of the pontoon. So something easy to do, and sometimes when you're loading your pontoon on the trailer, it's a lot easier to unhook it from your truck or your tow vehicle and push it under by hand to lift it up. This boat's now ready to wheel back into the shop. Hopefully you learned something here. If I'm making these carts stationary, you're just putting in your yard, just build the same thing and omit the wheels. But that long support is gonna be better for your pontoon in the long run. It's not gonna leave those craters and dents in the bottom of your tunes. If this video is helpful, make sure you like, subscribe to our channel, ring the bell.
What does that mean?
Yeah, it's like you hit the bell thing so that it notifies you when I post a new video. Yeah, I'm still learning too. And if it was really helpful, we gave you a good idea, www.buymeacoffee.com/TomsToons. You can make a little contribution to our channel there, help us keep this thing rolling.
Most importantly, go ahead and give us a comment on how much you love River.